What's up, New Year's nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the 30th day of December 2022. This roller coaster of a year is almost over, which means we're spending the next couple hours, days, minutes looking at the tabletop role-playing game trends of 2022, the number one stories, which includes a lot of lists. So let's take a look at a list of what another company thought was the best tabletop role-playing games of 2022, the most influential tabletop role-playing games of 2022, whatever you call them. This comes to us from The Gamer. It's an article by Zachary Wiggs. It's the 10 best tabletop role-playing games of 2022. Number 10, First Responders. A tabletop role-playing game where you play first responders. Floods, car crashes, earthquakes, fires. Real-life tabletop role-playing game where you play firemen or policemen. No magic, no monsters, no mythology, no fantastic stuff. Just a cop serial drama action like CSI or First Responders or Chicago Fire. Is there a market for this? I mean, I guess, yeah, when we were kids, we played cops and robbers and firemen and stuff like that, but would you really want to be interested in a campaign where every week it's basically you're playing out an episode of CSI or NCIS or Chicago Fire? Oh, who's going to run in and save JoJo from the fire this week? Oh, who are we going to find out that Stan is having an affair with Steve's wife? I guess it could work. I think sooner or later you'd have to add in some level of extra excitement, like a serial arsonist or, something like that. Number 9, Coyote and Crow. Coyote and Crow. This is right up there. I mean, if everybody complains about Thirsty Sword Lesbians as like the best, worst game of the year and how it had woke points and whatever, but I think we're all trying to avoid Coyote and Crow and talking about that because it's just so many built-in headaches, especially when the designer is literally telling people, don't play my game. But this guy thought Coyote and Crow was the 9th best tabletop role-playing game of 2022. And who knows? Maybe if we could go to a universe where none of the politics that were involved with this and none of the controversy that was involved in Coyote and Crow, we could actually look at the system and go either, hey, this is a really good system, or wow, this is a really awful system, or hey, this is a really great idea, or wow, this is a really awful idea. But no, because the creator just tagged on so much controversy, literally telling people, don't play my game. Or, so oof, just a painful headache there. Number 8, Mothership. Really? I would put that as number 1. What game that wasn't 5e got the most play, the most references, the most hacks, the most I already said references. Mothership, dude. Mothership was the 2022 game of the year, probably. I mean, it's how many times in the past year have I mentioned Mothership or a hack of Mothership or somebody talking about Mothership or referencing Mothership? 2023, Mothership's going to be the game to watch. Number 7, Yizaba's Bed and Breakfast. Literally, never even saw this game. It's one of the new trends of comfy role-playing where you and your friends play out a slice of life anime. In this one, you're controlling a bed and breakfast, and your adventures are based upon the days and troubles of the various people visiting your bed and breakfast. So this is a new part of the new comfy role-playing game. If you go over to Dungeons and Diversity, Double D has a video of some people at a convention role-playing out a 2-hour-long fishing tournament. So if you want to look at an example of comfy role-playing, head on over to Double D's site, link down below, for a video where he watched 2 hours at a convention at PAX. People paid to watch a group of professional players play out a fishing tournament scenario. Yeah, I could watch Fishing in the West for free. But if comfy role playing is your kind of thing, then this could be your game. Again, it's the appealing to the Miyazaki slice of life anime trend. And again, maybe this is an amazing system. This is an amazing idea. I don't know, because there's just so much nonsense attached to this now that you can never, these games that are coming out that are trying to jump on the bandwagon of new, different, inclusive, progressive will never get an even chance or a decent chance to show how good they are, because there's just so much controversy attached to them. So we'll never know. But a couple years ago, my friend Tristan Marks had an idea for a game called Magical Temp Agency, and I was like, dude, this would make an amazing game. Totally taking our part, into the slice of life, slightly ridiculous anime, Miyazaki slice anime, magical Princess Lum type of anime. But now you couldn't make it, because no matter how good it is, it's got a built-in, oh my god, I don't want to. This game is so stupid, or oh my god, this game is so wonderful, and you don't play it, you're a horrible, awful person. So because of the controversy and nonsense that has built up over the past year or so, we'll never know if these games were really ever good or not, and that's kind of sad for the creators. Number 6, Iron Sword Starforge. So if you're familiar with the tabletop role-playing game Iron Sword, an amazing system for one of the few games that actually is built to solo play that supposedly actual works, as well as group play. This one is all about space. So if you're looking for another space game, Iron Sword Starforged, number 6 tabletop role-playing game of the year. I don't know. Number 5, Death in Space. Hey, here's one of the many games influenced by Mothership. So here's another one about how you're in space and space wants to kill you. So it's just showing the popularity of this new genre and how many people are hacking Mothership and taking advantage of this new idea and all the mechanics in Mothership, and just spiraling off into new, exciting ways to run these space horror campaigns. Number 4, most is Blade Runner. Number 4, top 10 best role-playing games of 2022. The most anticipated tabletop role-playing game of 2022. Is it going to clean up the awards in 2023? Or are people going to just be like, dude, it's like 20 years out of date. Blade Runner is no longer, a topic, because, yeah, I don't know. I was so excited to pick up this game because I love Blade Runner. You've heard me talk about my love for Blade Runner. Blade Runner, it was my 80s childhood. I would watch that movie 2 or 3 times a week. I loved it so much. And I still love it. I mean, one of the main reasons I kickstarted the game was to get the book and the art. I knew I was probably never going to play or run it, but I just loved Blade Runner so much I had to have it. And it was the most anticipated tabletop role-playing game of 2022, but there's this whole, well, is there a market for this? I mean, you're referencing a movie that really hasn't been relevant in hundreds of years, The genre is sort of past and evolved way past Blade Runner. Los Angeles does not look anything like it does in Blade Runner, but still, it's an awesome movie. Number 3, tabletop role-playing game of the year, Dark Souls, a role-playing game. Yeah. So it's a tabletop role-playing game based upon the Dark Souls video game, which of course created the whole Soulsborne genre. Dark fantasy, Dark Souls, roguelike, band of adventurers going out and dying a lot. Grim, dark, yeah. If you're familiar with Dark Souls and the Souls-like style of role-playing, and you want to see if it converts to a tabletop role-playing game, there was a Dark Souls role-playing game made this year, but considering the utter lack of press it received, does it really rate as number 3? I don't know, man. Maybe next year. Whoever can get the Elder Scrolls license and turn it into a tabletop role-playing game and even half decent, that's going to be the company that just wins the D&D versus everyone war. So Dark Souls could have been it, but so far, as of now, it really hasn't received a lot of press, but maybe in 2023 it'll be the year of Dark Souls, the role-playing game. Number 2, Avatar Legends. Based upon the hardly ever seen system, it was what did it make in Kickstarter? Like 20 million Kickstarter. It was like one of the number one Kickstarters of 2021, 2022. Got a lot of excitement. Who doesn't love the series, the world of Avatar, Avatar and Korra, and the legendary, when are we going to see it, 3rd chapter of the anime trilogy? But it's a system that's kind of, questionable. So, yeah, but it was like the number one Kickstarter of the year. Definitely in the top 5 for most anticipated. So we'll see. Again, maybe 2023 will be its year. Sad thing is, a lot of these games that are best tabletop role-playing game in 2022 came out Q3. So, they came out October, November, December. So they really haven't had a chance to generate the press that they needed to become the juggernauts they could. But, who knows? Maybe next year. And according to this guy, the number one tabletop role-playing game of 2022 was not Dungeons & Dragons. It was Cyborg. Cyborg is a cyberpunk take on tabletop role-playing game of the year, Morkborg. So if you're looking for an even darker version of cyberpunk, Cyborg takes the mentality of Morkborg and throws it into a cyberpunkic future. So add all the typical cyberpunk live fast, die young, leave a recognizable corpse. So the trauma team knows who you are, corporations versus the everyman, and then add into it the doom clock that is, this world's going to self-destruct in X amount of time, and nothing you do really matters. Mentality of Morkborg. And you've got Cyborg, which according to this guy is the tabletop role-playing game of the year. So from all of that, what trend are we going to take out of that? If we're talking about tabletop role-playing game trends for 2022, the 2 big trends seem to be, comfy role-playing or slice of life role-playing, first responders, and Yizaba's bed and breakfast. Both, slice of life, comfy, real world role-playing. And then the other big trends of 2022, of course, was dark, grim, gritty, semi-realistic role-playing like Mothership, Death in Space, Blade Runner, Dark Souls, Cyborg, all basically the same genre. And all basically a trend of 2022 was we sort of had one camp that was very, let's create comfy, safe, slice of life, Miyazaki-esque, wonderful, enchanting role-playing that sort of recaptured childhood. And the other camp was, no, I want to see the grim, gritty, no hope, dystopian future that I see outside my window anyway, and just up it to 11. Both of those are trends we could talk about, or the tabletop role-playing game stories we could talk about. But that's it. That's another list of top role-playing games from these guys. If you agree with these, sure, check it out. If you don't agree with it, what are your top role-playing games of 2022? And what do you think you can expect for 2023? What are you looking forward to? Based upon what, Yahoo Finance has predicted, it'll be an interesting year for 2023. So what was your tabletop role-playing game / story / whatever of 2022? Or trend? We've already discussed the tabletop role-playing game of the year story. I think, sooner or later before we bring this close, we're going to have to talk about Wizards of the Coast at least one more time. But I'm trying to avoid it. Till next time, I'm the OGGM with the Tabletop Role-Playing Game Friday lazy nonsense that is like usual Friday. If you have any topics you want to see me cover in 2023, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me immensely. And remember, this is my job, so I gotta let you know this is a monetized video. So if you do see commercials, that's why. And if you want to support me and help me make the OGGM Empire be sustainable in 2023, check out my sponsors, check out my merch. I'll be doing a New Year's Eve merch giveaway bonanza sale thing. pick yourself up some OGGM sweatshirts, stuff like that, and have a safe and happy night before New Year's Eve. And it's raining.